Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. The big Memorial Day weekend recruiting event is here. We've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now. Five-star Nico Iau-Maliaba is going to be on campus. Some big-time offensive line prospects, guys on both sides of the ball. Just a ton of talent in Knoxville this weekend. Probably, you could possibly call this the biggest recruiting weekend of the Josh Heupel era, because this could be the class of 23 could be the class that launches this program back in the right direction. But something we've been talking about on the defensive line, we've been talking about Vic Burley. We've been this program for quite a while, and that is an elite defensive line target, Tomarrion Parker. We're going to talk about him specifically. We'll get into his scouting report. We'll take a look at a couple of quotes from him, but it looks like Vic Burley is kind of trending away from Tennessee, and never say never, especially when Rodney Garner's in the mix. So I want to take a look at some other guys that Tennessee may be able to close the deal with and get them in the boat for this class of 23. So we'll talk about it, but as always, do me a favor, go ahead and smash that like button just below the video. It's quick, it's free, it's easy. Just make sure you sign in, hit that little thumbs up. If you're new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts, we're not insiders. We are just like you guys. We are fans just like you, for the fans, by the fans. If you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. We'll be live tonight, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, Friday night, playing a little NCAA 2013 and talking Tennessee football. So come hang out, laid back stream. Always a good time. Hope to see you in the chat. But let's take a look at this article from 24/7 Sports. Kind of gives some good quotes, good information. We'll take a look at it, and then we'll get into some other stuff as well. But this is from Ryan Callahan, again, 247sports.com. Elite defensive line target confirms scheduled trip to Tennessee. One of the nation's top defensive linemen confirmed Wednesday that he's ready to make another trip to Tennessee. Four-star class of 23 defensive lineman Tomarrion Parker of Central High School in Phoenix City, Alabama, posted on his Twitter account that he's scheduled to visit the VAWLS on Saturday to attend their Rocky Top Palooza event. That's going to be the fourth trip to Tennessee in less than a year for the 6'4", 255-pound Parker, who's a top 50 prospect nationally in the 24/7 Sports rankings. He's announced the top 5 in early February that included the VAWLS, along with Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, and Ohio State, although he continued to consider other schools, including Florida, Auburn, Michigan State, and Texas A&M. Now, depending on where you look, 24/7 Sports actually has 2 crystal balls in for Georgia. Steve Wiltfong is one of those as well. Now, On3.com also has Georgia way out in front. The recruiting prediction machine has Georgia at 88.1%. But when you jump over to VolQuest, when you see what Brent Hubbs, Austin Price, and the gang over there has to say, the team Penn State seems to be floating around in Tomarrion Parker's circle, but they also mentioned that he probably wants to stay and play football in the South. Goes on to say here, Parker was actually born in Knoxville, visited Tennessee for the first time in June, and returned to Knoxville on September 11th for the VAWLS home game against Pitt, and then most recently visited them on March the 5th to attend one of their junior days. So again, this will be his 4th trip to Knoxville. He's familiar with this coaching staff, with Josh Heupel, Tim Banks, Rodney Garner. There's some familiarity there, and you are continuing to build relationships. Can Tennessee make up enough ground? Can Tennessee get themselves in a position to land a guy like Tomarrion Parker? It says here, Georgia has received both predictions for Parker on 24/7 Sports. Both were made on January 15th, the day he visited the Bulldogs to attend their national championship celebration. And that's, again, I've talked a lot about On3 and how some people put a lot of value in it, some really don't. There's always that high for these kids. They are on an emotional high when they come off of a visit, whether it's to Tennessee, whether it's to Georgia, talking about him going to the national championship celebration. Of course, that kid left that visit on a high. So did he talk to Steve Wiltfong and the other guys that have put in their predictions and talks about how much he loves Georgia? So that's why the crystal ball goes in, even though the recruitment is still wide open. It says Parker's ranked by 24/7 Sports as the number 48 overall prospect, the number 6 defensive lineman in the class of 23, and the number 6 rising senior from the state of Alabama. Also a 4-star in the 24/7 Sports composite. Talks here about the former staff actually giving him his second offer back in January of 2021. And then Coach Heupel and his staff continued to put on momentum. Here's a quote from Parker. It says, "It was good, just a time to get my parents up there, show them around. This is my third time coming up to Knoxville on a visit, so I'm already accompanied to things. I already know what their plan is to use me. I've already seen everything. Just wanted to get my parents up here and show them around. Again, it's going to be his fourth trip to Rocky Top, getting him back on campus for a fourth time. And look, we saw that with Carnell Tate, right? We saw that with Carnell Tate recently, coming back in town on his own, sits down, gets to relax, watch a baseball game with Josh Heupel. That's how you build relationships. You get these kids on campus, you lay out your plan for them, you show them who Rodney Garner is, and that's what it says here. Defensive line coach Rodney Garner, longtime SEC assistant coach, is one of the main reasons the Vols are appealing to Parker. You show them that, you show them how you're going to use them, and then you start working on relationships. You start selling this atmosphere that you have created in Knoxville. This is what Parker had to say about Coach G. He says him being one of the greatest defensive line coaches in the SEC and in college football, period. He has a lot of experience. So I definitely know I can learn something from him, as he's put defensive linemen in the league who are still in the league and who are producing at a high level. Says here that in March, he said Ohio State, Penn State, Bama, Georgia, Texas A&M were in line to receive his 5 official visits. But the only officials he has currently scheduled, Penn State on June the 17th and Michigan State on June the 24th. And again, that's kind of looking at the on-3 prediction, looking at the 24/7 Sports crystal balls, who's really on their game here. He's got 2 official visits. Georgia's not in there, but Penn State is. And again, that's why I trust the guys at VAWLS. That's why they bring the best information. But again, this thing's wide open. We'll see how it plays out. It says here that he's planning to travel to Florida on June the 3rd. Expressed interest in using one of his official visits during the season to take a closer look at the Gators. So we'll see if Tennessee is able to sneak in there and get an official visit from Tomarrion Parker. They've got the big recruiting weekend this weekend, and then moving into June, there's another big recruiting weekend then. Or can they get Tomarrion Parker on campus during the regular season? Now let's take a look at the scouting report over at 24/7 Sports. Again, 6'4", 255-pound edge rusher out of Alabama, although born in Knoxville, Tennessee. The scouting report says that he possesses prototypical size and length at 6'4", 250, has the ability to add additional weight to his frame, positioned the majority of snaps in a 2-point stance in a stand-up pass rushing edge role. Says he displays good athletic ability and a natural ability to bend the edge. Smooth mover for his size, plays with good initial foot and body quickness, exhibits active hands at the point of attack, has the ability to beat you with speed or power off the edge, flashes good lateral quickness in space, and shows some ability to drop. Also closes space exceptionally well for his size, demonstrates good play strength at the point of attack, and flashes some power in his hands off the edge. Projects to a pass rushing edge roll in a 3-4 with his hand in the dirt as a 5 technique in a 4-3 defense. Position projection will heavily dependent on the defensive scheme. Arrow is pointing up as the game continues to slow down for him. Projects to a high-level impact starter at the next level for a Power 5 program. Tennessee needs to continue to add talent on the line of scrimmage, both on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. And this is a big weekend because they've got some big-time studs on both lines of scrimmage that are going to be on campus for this big recruiting weekend. This is huge. This is, again, possibly the biggest weekend, so you can launch that momentum and get this thing going back in the right direction. I think we already saw it last year. We saw, I love the quote from Rodney Garner. I talk about it all the time. Didn't come here to win 7 games, but 7 games exceeded the expectation. We had national media talking about Tennessee winning 3 games, talking about Tennessee winning 4 games. People called me crazy. People made videos on their YouTube channels because Boogie Bentley on the Talkin VAWLS network said Tennessee was going to win 6 games. Well, I wasn't too far off. But that is not good enough. We came here to win championships, said Rodney Garner. Hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think Tennessee sets up with Tomarrion Parker? Can they get Vic Burley? Can they get some momentum with Vic Burley? What about Bradley? I think Bradley's a ball. Feel pretty good about that one. But hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you smash the thumbs up on the way out the door and go check out the official merchandise. You guys know where to go. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. The links to all of that is in the description below. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big